Hello. If you're watching this, it means that the world has ended and the Ancient One has rise. I think I'm the only one that has yet survived. I don't know about many people. The movie ritual failed. I failed everything and everybody. What we try to accomplish has failed, and we have risen again. As for my friend Jason, he was lost. I don't know what happened to everybody, but knowing that this that I am recording is my last testament. As you can see, I was severe damaged, but yet still breathing. I was able to fight them off, but I got really damaged. I think I'm really tired. I just want to say farewell.
Andrew, wake up, man.
Oh man, Jason. Jude, man. Oh man, how long was I out?
Just for a few minutes, man.
Oh man, I just had this worst dream. I thought it all went down. That we failed and the Ancient Ones rise and it took everyone down and we were being, and it was just horrible. I was the only one alive, and I don't know what happened to you, and you got lost or somewhere, and then you were mentioning something about Megan Fox, or I don't know, but it was so horrible.
Relax, man. It was just a nightmare.
Hey, what's today's month?
Today's month? It's October.
Oh no, not again! It's coming back! Wait. I think we're gonna be okay. We just have to do a video blog. That's all.
Right, man.
Okay, let's do this.
Right.
Hello, my name's Andy, and this is my friend Jason.
So,
Yep. So we're here doing our Halloween special 2014 of this year. You probably saw our last year that we did, and our video and everything. So this year, we're actually going to be talking about a very good topic of the same topic that we talked about, which was Cabin in the Woods. But I've given us a good skit and also segment of this show. What we're about to do is we're about to analyze the basics and origins of horror films. Isn't that right, Jason?
that's right, Andy.
Yes. So far, over the past years, we have seen horror in its making. And, Jason?
And a lot of those horror movies, whether they be from the 80s or today, have frightened us and entertained us throughout the past 20, 30 years.
For over those years, we've been scared, and we have been traumatized, and all the other factors that we've been through from watching these horror movies. But one movie that has brought us, begging for more movies, but a better, more genres of all combined with horror movies, such as sci-fi, comedy, or basically your thriller drama, is what you might call it. But basically, we're here to tackle more of how Cabin in the Woods started out. So, right now, we're about to do part of our first segment on the beginning part of horror. So yeah, this is the beginning that we have of our horror films. And we have related to our classics of the iconical 3 monster movies. Number 1.
Dracula.
And number 2, Wolfman. And number 3,
Frankenstein.
all 3 horror icons. Oh, wait, let's not forget one more thing. The Mummy.
That's right, the Mummy.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, and the Swamp Man.
Swamp Man, basically all the classic horror movies that Universal have developed during the 40s.
Pretty much. And from nothing happened like around the 50s, or I would say. But the 60s picked up very good. Because eventually there was this other movie that came out. I don't know if you heard about it. That around the 60s, The Blob. Starred Steve McQueen. Yeah. But it was not that really good. It was just like, it was like kind of like a B horror classic, but not that much scary. But if you've seen the remake, oh man, that was really scary. Yeah. But then there at a time like around 1968, there was a cult classic horror movie that brought attention to people and audience.
The Night of the Living Dead, directed by George Romero.
Yes, and this was one of the horror classic icons that came to like brought to audience and to fans of this movie, mostly about zombies. And knowing the fact that throughout the movie, this was just an early outbreak epidemic of this virus.
Yeah, this because of this movie, it gave rise to a possibility of a zombie apocalypse, and with that single movie came a whole bunch of zombie related movies and TV shows and video games.
But yeah, after that, I mean, there was other good movies that George Romero made. Before that, he made 1963, The Crazies.
Which I personally haven't seen the original, but the remake made up for that.
Well, just remember, the original and the remake relate to the same things because they're both the same. Because really, the Crazies were about like this virus that contaminated the drinking water, and everybody started getting infected, meaning they started to act crazy, but not like zombie effect, but it was like the whole thing involving the military wiping out the entire town so that way no one will discover the whole thing. And it was basically military cover-ups. Health hazard and military concern, basically. So it was like all about in this movie. But in George Romero's movie in 1978, Dawn of the Dead, that was a classic.
A classic by its own right. Give us the idea of a slow-moving zombie.
But in color. Let's not forget about that.
That's right.
Yeah. But unfortunately in that movie it was like a realistic of a utopia kind of living, knowing that in the outside it was just dead, but living in the mall was your own utopia of living like a little heaven, like or so. Because I mean, it's a mall. You could do much things in a mall.
Yeah. In fact, a mall, your first hiding space during a zombie apocalypse would be a shopping mall.
Now, for our other movie that we have of George Romero's 1985, well, his 1985 movie, Day of the Dead, that started a little more peculiar and more complex on that subject. Because still, the outbreak went out and everything, but it also involved military and scientists.
Yeah.
And basically, the only safest place that was only there was the ground below, because it was a military underground. So basically, zombies wouldn't know where to find it, although they would know where everybody is. And there's a lot of confusions and stuff, but like more characters in the movie start to act like or rogue and crazy and stuff, and like lose their sense of what's becoming inhuman and stuff, and what's left of mankind. But yeah, I mean, we also have to know, like, is there a cure? can zombies, still be a harm to us, or because let's not forget that the iconic zombie in Day of the Dead, Bub.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Logan, he was just doing his job, trying to find a cure. But until when I discovered that what Dr. Logan did was crazy. I mean, it was uncanny, or because if you didn't know, because what you didn't know is that he was experimenting with Bub, the zombie, which I think he was a military personnel or just a stranger or whatever. I mean, because the thing was, he fed Bub living tissue off of dead military men. And frankly, after when Captain Roden found about that, he was very horrified and shocked, and he had no choice but to let go of Dr. Logan. Didn't you think that seemed fair, Jason? I mean, come on, that was a person. I mean, you can't just feed that to a. I would say I would just immediately punch him, because you can't do that. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I can understand feeding a lump of animal flesh to a feral wolf or coyote, but giving human flesh to a
and the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if the person was dead or got infected or dead or so. That does not give you the right to do that. And beyond that, that's unsensible. I mean, it's no. But moving past that, I mean, what's human, what's not human, and all at the end, I mean, we just gotta survive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our next topic, the origin of slashers. Now, basically, this had happened back in around the 70s, because 1974, Tope Hopper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that was an iconic classic of your slasher, and very dramatic and survival movie.
Yeah, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was so great of a slasher. It spawned a sequel, a remake slash prequel, and the more current Chainsaw, Texas Chainsaw, which follows up on the original franchise.
Yeah. So basically, it was just a movie that was based on true events. Other people think it was just based on the obvious serial killer Ed Gein. But personally, I had information that it wasn't based on not only him, but it was based on a true story of him. And my friend told me that it wasn't a girl that survived, it was a guy, and the guy's still real, and he's at large, still, in Texas. And not sure what's going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very iconic movie and everything. And I was like, it scared people out of their seats and stuff, and just seeing a guy with a chainsaw just literally freaked me out.
Yeah.
Now we continue on the slasher topic, but also that emerged around the 80s, beginning with the first one of our classic slasher of the 1980s. 1980, Friday the 13th, directed by
Sean S. Cunningham.
Yes, a very highly horror film that started it all. And basically, this is one of the first ones that didn't even involve seeing the actual killer until somewhere around the middle. And yeah, that was pretty epic, right?
Right, and for those of you who hasn't seen the original, just so you know, Jason wasn't the main killer in that movie. It was his mother.
Yeah. I mean, who would know? I mean, because her only child drowned in a lake, and next thing you know, he comes back. Or so in the second movie or so. But yeah. And his mother, she's out for revenge and blood. And eventually, that just... The ending's pretty tough and stuff, because it just puts you out there, because she wakes up at the hospital and then finds out, like the whole, there was no boy and stuff, and he's still out there, but we haven't even seen him in the first one, right, Jason?
Exactly.
But until the second one, we start seeing him, but he's not wearing a hockey mask.
Nah, his first mask was just a potato sack with a hole sticking out.
It's mostly like a girl wearing a paper bag over her head when she's...
When she has a massive bad case of acne.
Or better yet, you could just say that she's yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I did that with my ex-girlfriend, really. Oh wait, no, I didn't. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. So anyway, moving on with the frantic franchise of that movie, it just moved up really high and low, because most of the times it was just like coming back to Camp Crystal Lake, and then just coming back to another part of Camp Crystal Lake, and then they just keep reopening Camp Crystal Lake's things and just realizing that so many people had died.
Yeah, but mostly, but in real estate issues, houses that have been crimes are super cheap. So in real estate wise, Camp Crystal Lake just got a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it's just like, when I was a kid and I wanted to go camping, and said, oh, I want to go to camp, and then just like watching the entire franchise of Friday the 13th saying, I don't want to go to camp, right?
Exactly.
I know. Yeah, but you gotta admit, those hot counselor babes were really hot.
Yeah, kind of makes up for the whole I don't like camp bit.
True. But it also, just began making the rules of horror, which we'll talk about that later. But right now, we have our another slasher, but also was a bit of a twist.
That of Angela of Sleepaway Camp.
Camp Sleepaway, 1983, and that was directed by Robert Hetzlack. That was a very good movie, and just like the ending, if you saw that ending, you would just realize, what the WTF, man?
Yeah, who would have guessed that the main killer was...
Okay, spoiler, man.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
And we gotta, protect that whole thing, because, nobody wants to know that, if anybody did see the movie or stuff, because, that... Well, if anybody fell in love with Angela, man, just let you know, let it down, let it go, man. Just let it go. Just let it go, okay? Why won't you let it go? Just let it go, right?
Right, and trying to ignore the whole nice girl bit, because
really,
nice girls
reality,
are nice.
Yeah, because in reality, nice girls don't exist as much as nice guys. Well, they do exist, but it's hard.
Yeah, but they mostly fish last, like the old saying.
Yeah, but let's just remember, there's no such thing as nice girls. There's no such thing.
Right. All the only type of girls do exist are somewhat the slight ones.
Yeah, pretty much. And because with nice girls, I'm just thinking out of my head, because it's the figment of my freaking imaginations. That's what. And that's why nice girls don't exist. And yeah, pretty much. But anyway, also that started in the 80s, another a slasher was by an iconic icon that also made it good, was the Hellraiser.
Right, whose main villain was Pinhead.
That was directed by Clive Barkner. And that was a British horror movie, but it also made very iconical and very great franchise on that movies. And basically it was very scary because he had that dark demonic voice.
Right. Yeah, and if you saw the original movie poster, the thing about demon to some, angel to others, the first thought you might hear is that Pinhead might be the very first slasher anti-hero.
True. Okay, and I forgot to add this too, but after Friday the 13th in 1981, there was also a unknown genre of when horror meets comedy, and that was
American Werewolf in London,
directed by John
Lloyds.
And this film was very funny, but also scary at the same time because a werewolf coming out and eating people when the moon is full. Yeah, it just makes you wonder, is it safe out there? And the whole beginning, it just started out pretty good, and then next thing you know, thing just pops out, and then oh my god, and yeah, but then it was very funny, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it also shows us the very real way to transform into a werewolf, real and painfully way.
Yeah, it's like giving birth, or the time of the month thing. You know what I mean, right?
Right.
It's kind of a drag, really, but yeah. But it's hard, man. You can't live life as a werewolf, man. As much as Taylor Lautner can't live his life on his own.
Exactly.
Okay. But anyway, that movie was very funny and stuff, and it just incited why not do more movies of horror and comedy?
Right. That kind of unknowingly spawned the idea for a Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, not the first one, but the sequels that followed. That made Freddy a comedic yet sadistic killer.
But yeah, moving on. After that movie, there was another notorious director that made a very short budget, but also a very classic horror. And you do know him from his movies of Spider-Man, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's Sam Raimi's Evil Dead.
1981.
Starring Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Which, that movie, started out pretty good, and it was just, ready of the other slasher films. But this one gave it a deal twist.
Right.
Yeah, the cabin, of course. Yeah, that was, very, a weekend getaway and, going to the cabin and stuff. And then this whole thing, finding the book.
The book called the Necronomicon, which technically means the Book of the Dead.
And then it released, all the Reptilians.
Exactly.
But they didn't call it, just demons, because of course we know what a demon is. But the Reptilians, they're the same terms of demons, but they're more different. Because you can't shoot them. I mean, you could shoot them and stuff, but they're not hard to kill and not easy to kill, basically.
Right. Right, they're basically coming straight out that spellbook, and it's kind of hard to get rid of them while they're coming out of that book.
Pretty much. And then another horror movie came out, and this was very frantic that it just gave the idea: are toys scarier?
Well, technically, if you're looking at porcelain dolls, but the very first killer doll would have to be Chucky from Child's Play,
1987.
Directed.
That's the other page. Right there. Well, I think I would say 1987.
Well, 1988.
Yeah, pretty much almost there, right there. And yeah, that movie just gave it out creepy. If you're gonna buy your kid a toy, don't buy a toy that's basically possessed by an evil spirit of a notorious child killer.
Right. Yeah, especially if that child killer practiced voodoo.
Pretty much. True. And, you know, that movie just, like, freaked out and, like, it made a few franchise, but not that very good. And then that latest movie of the Chucky movie, The Curse of Chucky, I mean,
Well, it was alright. I mean, and it had a somewhat interesting post-credit ending.
true. But I haven't seen it, so I can't judge about that.
Yeah, and for the sake of my friend here, I can't tell you what is it.
Yeah. So, let's not forget not also another icon, but, like, nightmares.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. That was directed by Wes Craven himself.
In 1984.
Yes. That movie just gave out, Wes Craven, his movies are basically his tales of true stories. Because basically, let's not forget this. Let's not forget that that movie of Nightmare on Elm Street was about a true story of a newspaper article he read of a kid dying in his sleep.
Yeah. Basically, this kid that he read about had these severe nightmares that he was so afraid of them he had to stay awake. And he even have a coffee machine that's connected from the outlets from his parents' place, and basically when he finally fell asleep, he didn't quite wake up.
Shoot, I mean, he could have just like slept at a Starbucks, but damn it, we didn't have that back then. I mean,
yeah.
And then, like, we all know, like, his movies they were just basically true, and based on true events that he heard about, like such as The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean the natural fear of a small band of mutants living in an American desert, probably due to a nuclear blast.
Yes, because we all know that, like, the government did some nuclear testings way back in New Mexico, and this had something to do with the Manhattan Project, basically. And really, governments, they're still denying the factors of, existing mutations, with such human beings in New Mexico, if there were any effects with blasts. And, people didn't want to leave their hometown because, they just, and decided, like, oh, why don't we just go to a mine shelter? But then it's not safe because you still get infected by radiations.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever see the movie The Day After? I mean, because we all saw what happened there, because once that blast hits, everybody's gone. And those who survive, well, let me just tell you, I mean, they're not human anymore.
Yeah, they're completely something else. I
mean, the first couple of days, they seem alright. Then when a couple of weeks pass by, they started noticing different. Their skin changes. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up with the whole of the slasher there of the 80s. But let's not also forget another iconical, famous horror slash comic of a new genre of horror. Because we all know the horror and comedy, but what about horror meets sci-fi?
And there's nothing scary about being alone in space or in a distant planet.
Yep, that's right, aliens.
Particularly the movie Aliens.
True, Aliens. That was one of its first that got throughout, the whole fear of being out there in space. And a new alien life form organism that would definitely, come and attack. I mean, I've seen, and its franchise was pretty good. I mean, Sigourney Weaver like outdid herself. She outdid herself more than Jamie Lee Curtis. Like,
Yeah.
but I gotta say, Jamie Lee Curtis like stuck it up like there many years. Being, with the Halloween thing. But she was only in like, I would say 4 Halloween movies because the rest it was just cutbacks of other movies. But it didn't involve her, but it also involved an actress named Daniela Harris. She was in one of the Halloween movies, of course. And then she was also identically in the remake of
the Halloween franchise.
Yeah, which pretty much was directed by Rob Zombie. And I gotta say, the first one was really awesome. But the second one, it didn't really stick out that good.
Yeah, basically, we originally thought that the Halloween Double remake was thought to be the remake of the first 2.
Pretty much, but it did show like almost half in the beginning of what it would be like, because it was basically continuing on what happened that night. But then after that, it just like it was like probably like 3 or almost about a year.
Yeah.
Later, so it didn't really do that good, and like there was like 2 different endings. So one ending was good, and the other one could have gone that way.
Yeah.
All right. So, to our last and final segment of our show, we're about to explain our verses of remakes and originals.
And originals, yeah.
Yeah, so remakes and originals. And let's first start off with originals. The original horror movies, they brought out, just to scare us. They were basically, cheap to do, but very scary to to see.
Yeah, well, people that live in the late 70s or 80s, at least.
Yeah, pretty much. And let's have our remakes that we have. I mean, those are very, very high tech. Lots of money there. CGI, basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because without CGI, I mean, but also prosthetics, I mean, have been very enhanced. It's been enhanced, really.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the remakes I wanted to talk about is one of my greatest remakes that have been there. Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I didn't understand with the whole thing was that zombies can run?
Well, that just makes it a lot more frightening.
True, I mean, it's hard to run over... to escape 1,000 zombies they're chasing after you. Then it's just better than zombies would walk.
Walk very slowly, I might add.
I mean, come on. I mean, the show The Walking Dead. They're not showing the dead running or jogging. They're walking.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And well, there was other remakes that they had there. Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Halloween.
That too.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That too. I was very scared when I first heard about that they were going to make a remake of that, and I was like very frightened and scared. And I was actually in the movie theaters, and I was like saying, I don't want to go inside and see it. No way.
Yeah.
But my friend, he had the DVDs, and he saw that it was very horrified. But it's based, like I said, it was based on a true story. But with the other remakes, I mean, it was just very. It was very. It showed very high class, but and the plot, it was nonetheless different than what it was in the original.
Yeah, the difference being that the real names of the killer kind of changed from the classic real name from the original.
But let's not forget, modernizations in these remakes had occurred, for instance, cell phones, internet, media, other things like that. It kind of basically, gave it a point. for how to survive and everything. Because the originals, I mean, you didn't have any of the technologies that we have today.
Yeah.
So basically, it would be hard to survive in a horror movie. But with the remakes that they do now, I mean, it would be more difficult to survive in a horror movie because they just involve more, more different scenarios.
Yeah.
And situations. Which, of course, it just, like, it brought it all up. I mean, because, like, if you have slow zombies in the remake, you just make fast zombies. And then, if you have a killer that in the old one, he's just, like, slow and does it, and just, like, gradually, they're just running, but they don't know where to hide. And then in the remake, you just have this killer that sets traps and everything. And, like, does a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So there you have it, folks. All those combines of horror movies had created one great big movie, Cabin in the Woods, that released in 2012.
Yeah, with all the combined and with slightly familiar characters of the horror genre.
Pretty much. And that movie just brought back everything from what horror was and what horror should be.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're being watched by a couple of technical douchebags.
Well, yeah, pretty much. They were not really douchebags, but yeah, I mean, come on, for sake. I mean, they were working for the government and stuff, and they were trying to keep, who happy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's basically what horror movies should be, and like our fans. Well, fans of horror films, if you understand, horror movies should be more updated and find new ways to scare people. And basically, like, it's just horror movies. It's just losing its touch. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
We're losing our audience, and we need to get our audience back by making such of a good movie that has came by. I mean, not only Cabin in the Woods, but Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That was an awesome one. Pretty much. And let's not forget another one, I would say. What was that movie with the girl from Parks and Recreations? The guy that had his girlfriend died, but then came back to him, but then realized that she was a zombie.
I actually haven't seen that one.
Yeah, but I gotta see that because it's really good. So anyway, that pretty much wraps everything, and I hope you enjoyed or are satisfied with the whole thing with the genre of the horrors, origin of horrors. And what about you, Jason?
I enjoyed it very much, Andrew.
Yeah. So, anything like with any updates like coming here with the VideoTube vlog? I mean, we're currently are being posting on hold because we're just we're just busy people, just hard workers.
Honest hard workers.
Honest hard workers. That's what we are. And for those, who are also doing, like, what we are doing, the whole YouTube experience and stuff, and, and also who's doing the cosplaying thing, because we have our frantic update with that. It turns out that me and Jason are going to be heading to the next year's SuperCon.
Yeah, with me dressing up as Spider-Man, either as the black costume Spider-Man or classic costume.
Or if anything, I mean, we'll just go as pros. But I mean, it's going to be the first time for Jason to head to Florida SuperCon.
Mm-hmm.
And as my first year experience going solo, I mean, I met a lot of people, and I'll meet a lot of people there, especially with my friend Jason. Because us duos, yeah, we're thrive to survive.
Yep.
Yeah, because I need him more than he needs me. Yep. So anyway, that pretty much that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the show, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, people.
Yeah. So stay safe and be careful. What you eat, because those candies. Not just kidding. You could eat them, but just stay safe. With trick or treating and everything, and try not to do something you won't regret.
Yeah, especially when you get drunk on a Halloween party. Trust me, you don't want to wake up and
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
Don't drink and drive. Yep. So anyway, I'll see you until next time, everybody. Andy McCool out.
Yes, be cool and be safe.
Yeah, be cool, stay in school. But yeah, same people.